Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode, this lovely day. I'll check my calendar. It is the 28th day of March 2023. Welcome on board. It's a beautiful morning, I should say, though right here in Kampala it's been raining, so it's a bit cool. And today I'm having an interesting panel. We really need the women. We need the women in the tech world if we need to drive the innovation and, of course, have a gender balance when it comes to the tech workforce are needed. And joining me for this episode, this lovely Tuesday, I am having Ruth, a team founder and team leader at Agenda Tech Initiative Uganda. And also joining me on set, I am having Linda Kembabazi. She's the CEO and founder member of Caris Therapy. They'll be letting us know how they incorporate the tech services in their day-to-day life. And why should you also tap and enjoy this tech world? Welcome once again. Linda, you're most welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sandra.
How is your morning?
My morning is cold. I bet it's cold for every person out there, but it's a beautiful one. Happy to be here.
Good to have you. I'm having Ruth next to me, Ruth Atim. You're most welcome. How is your morning?
Thank you so much, Linda. The morning, like Linda said, it's really chilly and cold, but I'm really glad to be here. Yeah. Thanks
for making time. I believe by the time you go to feel the blanket, you're like, oh geez, I need to be on UBC Live.
I know, yeah.
Thanks for not being tempted to stay under the blanket. Well, we're talking tech. Yeah. Just getting to know what inspired you to get to the tech world and how you incorporate the ICT services in your day-to-day life. I'll start with Ruth. What inspired you? Is it because you love maths, sciences, your parents enabled you to take this particular path that you don't regret at all?
Not really. I studied ICT at the university. I have a bachelor's in information and communications technology, and I'm also a freelance journalist. So journalism and tech, they sort of blending together. So I started embracing tech due to the fact that I sort of attended a couple of trainings, mentorship sessions, empowerment programs to empower me to embrace technology, and that's how my love for tech really, grew. Yeah.
If it was something else, what else would you have done?
While growing up, I always wanted to be a journalist, but I left mainstream journalism. I just freelanced because I wanted to do something that is so impactful, something that I can use to reach the community much better, and that's how gender tech came up. Yeah.
Well, it's good to be celebrating you this month. Linda, what inspired you to take the path?
Well, my story is a little bit different. It's not like I studied tech. No, that's what I did. I did something completely different. But I didn't have a very good experience in school. For me, school was always like a have-to-go place, not a want-to-be place. So I graduated from Makerere University. I did a bachelor's in tourism. But at the back of my mind, I knew something was wrong with the education system, and I was looking into solutions. What are the missing gaps? How do we bridge those gaps? And I delved deep into education, and that tool to be used was technology. So somehow I was forced to know how these things run, and I had to do deeper study. And here I am.
You don't regret at all?
Not at all.
Well, just getting to know how you incorporate the ICT in your day-to-day life, in your workforce. How does it happen?
So right now, just like you mentioned, I am the team lead, Caris Therapy. Caris is a teletherapy solution. Of course, you hear the therapy aspect of it, and we are leveraging on artificial intelligence to detect depression at those early stages so that we can incorporate and give solutions, that kind of story. So now tech is just my world, and I look at it as the sphere of solutions, and that's what I'm doing right now. Yes.
Ruth, your tech world, how is it like?
It's beautiful, it's amazing, because I do work with women, especially in the rural areas. I also do work with the young school girls. So my tech work basically rotates around, empowering young girls to embrace the usage of science and technology, because I do come from a region where there's this narrative that young girls can't do science, science is only for the boys, technology is only for the, you know, so yeah, so we basically want to empower the young girls to see how they can work to, you know, fall in love with science and also incorporate the use of technology in any career that they would want to take up. But yeah, you know, technology is, it's here to stay. We just have to embrace it and live with it. Yeah.
Okay, I believe you're getting some money when it comes to the tech world. There's a little bit of money here and there. And since you're the founder member, I believe you inspired quite many, and you're employing the women out there. What would you say, is ICT relevant when it comes to the government's money economy?
Yes, definitely, definitely. So if you're to look at the money economy, look at everyday life, mobile money. Mobile money, right now, being tech savvy is not a luxury. Like for you to go through life, somehow you'll have to load your Yaka unit, somehow you'll have to use mobile money to transact. So it is something that we can't live without, right? Because that's where the world is evolving to every other day. Then if you're to look at the economy, for example, Uganda, right now because of technology, you find we have actually a chance to take part in international markets. I'm going to give you an example of like a startup ecosystem. If you're to look at like an International Trade Center and all these bodies, right now they are training different entrepreneurs on the international markets and kind of showing us the gaps and the opportunities in there. And we can actually be a part of it, because you find countries share the same problems. So you find a Linda here in Uganda providing solutions to probably a community in China. So it is very, very powerful. Look at, let's say, telcos, right? And how much revenue they would be like injecting into the country and stuff like that. So it is something we cannot do without. Yes.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it. Well, getting to Ruth right here, I believe there's been a little bit of money here and there in the rural setup. Are you having that passion of gender, you know, having the passion to incorporate those other women, also tap into the opportunities that tech has for them? How is it like when it comes to government and the money economy itself? What would your thoughts be?
I think the money economy and the government, like, they sort of sync. Take a look at EFT. If a woman in the rural areas or a woman who is trying to embrace trade wants to buy stuff or wants to order things outside the country, they will have to send money. This is not physical cash, but money that is transmitted through a tech device or a tech tool. For example, EFT, or for example, she mentioned mobile money. There are also these other electronic transfer means like MoneyGram. All these technologies use, all these platforms use digital technology. So I would say for a woman who has the urge or the need to embrace technology, to spur their trade or their work, technology is something that they need to, sort of take up. Yeah.
I'll get back to you, Linda. How easy has it been like for you? Should I say easy or tough? When you finish campus, you want to get straight into the earning world. You want to get into the job market. But at times it's never easy, or you need to have the experience or volunteer somewhere immediately. How easy was it for you to sink in?
Well, I wouldn't say that it is easy. Yeah, there is nothing like easy in that world. But again, it's about your mindset. For example, I was very new to the tech world. And then there are all these stereotypes around the tech world. If you find people who have studied tech, women who have studied tech, and they are affected by the stereotypes. So how about you, who doesn't really have that much of a background? Yeah. So there's a lot of hardening to be done, delving so deep to understand how these things work. In most cases, when you have something you want, let's say you have a vision, right? There is a fuel behind there that drives you so deep, and you just silence all these voices that keep telling you probably it's not possible. Tech is, of course, a male-dominated field, right? And I think in my first startup as the only lady, like in male and all that, I have a supportive team. Glory to God, I had a supportive team. They made it a bit easy, and I did my part. And my part was to learn more and see how best I can fit. And yeah, I have no regrets. Yes.
Well, glory to God, like you put it.
Yeah.
Well, Ruth, I believe there's something that really drove you to a direction of gender balance, you know, and I know when it comes to ICT, like she put it, it's a men-dominated kind of environment. But we salute to the guys out there who have been supportive. How has it been like for you? How easy has it been? Because, you know, for someone who does graphics, at the end of the day, they have to be attached to either programs and different organizations, either volunteering, different programs, Adobe and things like that. Different programs for them to be able to sink into the tech world. Tell us about your journey.
Like I mentioned earlier on, I started my career as a radio presenter. You know, that was the time, that was when I just joined the university to pursue ICT. So 3 years down the road, I graduated, you know, with this bachelor's, and any other employer would definitely take me on as a systems administrator, a network administrator, you know, but that was not the case. I was still maintained in the newsroom as a news editor. Then I kept asking myself, I mean, I studied this course, the scale is going to waste. Why wouldn't I be absorbed into the system to hold cameras, to, you know, fix cables here and there, you know, because that is what I studied anyway, though I had a passion for the media. You know, so that still tells you about the divide gap, the digital divide gap that exists, that when a woman and a man apply for the same job, or when, you know, like some jobs are, you know, gender biased, there's that presumption that we women cannot do certain jobs, you know. Yeah, so it hasn't been easy. So, but nonetheless, you know, as women, it's always important to have that thick skin, because you have to, at the end of the day, you have to break even. You have to, you know, break through the, like she mentioned, into the male-dominated profession. Letting that aside, I still, you know, when you're a media person, you know how harsh this field really is. So as you navigate field reporting, meeting different sources, there is always that thing that you need to develop a relationship with your source so that you can gain, you can get the information that you need. But as women, there are certain sources that, you know, sort of, you know, I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say. Like the sources that tend to, you know, follow up and then try to harass you and stuff. So that is something that happened to me as well. And it provoked me to, I mean, it sort of motivated me to start up an initiative that would also support other women, because a couple of my friends were dropping off the profession, in still the male-dominated profession, because of the violence that they receive, either online or offline. So yes, it hasn't been easy, you know, to transition from mainstream media and then join the non-profit business to support women on ICT and technology and innovations, and yeah.
Well, good work innovating and lifting up a sister out there. How can we make it better? Since we can't put on those muscles and be like them, you know? What can be done to make it better for the women out there to have a conducive environment when it comes to the tech world in Uganda?
Okay, when it comes to the tech world in Uganda, already we are at a disadvantage, right? If you're to look at like the statistics that show that like internet penetration right now in Uganda, you find over 70.9% still don't have access to the internet. So that means we are catering to 21.1%. So already we are at a disadvantage. But the good news is there are opportunities out there, and women need to know this. Like, we cannot keep in this whole sulking gap of gender equality, because even the opportunities that have been set ahead for us, we are not taking them up because we are so sunk in complaining. You get it?
Yes.
And these can be availed, like opportunities can be availed. But again, some woman has to get up and catch it, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, is it a challenging field? Yes, it is. But for the woman out there, much as the challenge is there, the opportunities also that are out there. And someone has to get up, put on some big girl pants and get it. So it would start with a mindset change. Yeah, because if you were to look at, let's say, the startup ecosystem, honestly, as a participant, women are given a voice. And that is true. Look at like international boot camps and all these fellowships. Somehow women are given that leeway, that we are being heard. You get it? But we need to step up. We need to step up, catch these opportunities. What? Invest in knowledge. I think that is one thing very many women are not willing to do. Invest in knowledge. There is the hard bit, and that is you investing and trying to understand how all these things are working and seeing how you fit therein. So that would be my take.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good submission.
Thank you.
Ruth, I would like you to add a voice to that.
I think there is need to create safe online spaces for women in order for them to leverage and embrace technology, because there is what we call a digital detox. You know, it's a time when a woman gets off the digital space because to run away from the bad experience that they experience online. So if we have, let's say, 70% of women that experience this violence doing digital detoxes, that means the time that they're offline or the time that they're not consuming technology, they're missing out on something. They're missing out either on information, they're missing out on opportunities that comes with being online. You know, the online space has very many opportunities. All the fellowships that have gone through, all the travels, all the places that I've traveled to, like those are opportunities that I met online. Mm-hmm. So if a woman is offline because of the violence that she experiences online, that's already a challenge for you cannot compete with someone who is always there and you are not there. You know, yeah. So if safe online spaces are created for women, I think it will be one step ahead for us to leverage on technology. And then also policies. We have we have policies, but I feel like these policies are sort of victimizing us, the women. For example, if you look at the Anti-Pornography Act, you know, you've seen that, you've read the clauses in that act. But looking at the news, things that you've read online, the experiences of the different women, when that act, so it's as if the act was passed to victimize us. You know, I would ask you, have you ever seen a victim, a perpetrator of online violence or a violator of that particular act being arraigned in the courts of law or being put before cameras and, you know, the press coming, bloggers coming? I don't think so. But the victims of such, the victims of people who fall victim to the Anti-Pornography Act are the ones that are being arrested. They're being arraigned in the courts of, before the courts of law. I think such experiences or such clauses or policies sort of are also detrimental to the participation of women online, to them consuming technology. Because, it's supposed to be a free space. There is what we call freedom of expression. You're supposed to express yourself freely, but if there is something that is deterring you,
there has to be improvement in those strategies for the women to enjoy that space as well.
Yes, and then also hold the perpetrators to book. You know, if one day, you know, our government or our stakeholders look for the perpetrators of online violence, because cyberbullying is bad, is real, and she talked about depression. Mm-hmm. You know, it has led very many people into depression. Others have ended up committing suicide. You know,
this is also to do with defamation.
Yes, yeah. So body shaming, hateful comments, you know, cyberbullying, trolling, and all those things have really affected psychologically. You know, if someone body shames you, you're not going to be confident enough to express yourself. Yet, this is a platform that is here for us to leverage on. So yeah, so there is a need to, you know, create the online spaces for the women, then to hold the perpetrators of this violence to book. Bring them out there. You know, let's pick one person and use that person as an example, then I'm sure the rest will follow suit.
Well, I believe you are in the right place as a national broadcaster.
Yeah.
Someone along the way will definitely work on that. Let's keep the challenges coming so that we get the people in charge, or maybe someone out there is listening to the voices of the women, some of those challenges that need to be addressed.
Okay, if I can add on onto what she has
yes,
just
you're
mentioned.
free.
Yeah, if you're to look at the challenges that women are facing, we actually need a multi-pronged approach. Look at parents, and I know this is going to help a parent out there, right? You find a girl is brought into this world already disadvantaged just by how you're parenting her. You get it? All these deficits that girls feel, they are implanted in them. Let me give an example. You find you have a boy and you have a girl, right? The girl is the one you're buying for dolls, right? Dolls, all those cute little things that they have to put on their back and stuff like that. And then you buy the macho toys for the guy. And these are the very toys that are supposed to stimulate both kids. But the doll is not going to do much. Yes, you're teaching this girl probably to be motherly, right? And all that, but it's not enough. Because you're going to find where we are going, a woman is not just there for that role. There is more to us. So you find, even as a parent, we need to be very deliberate, showing this girl that she can from that tender age, so that we don't have to undo right now. Probably there is an adult out there who doesn't know what to do. So how about, as a parent, you look at it from that leveled ground, so that you expose
let even the guy have the doll as well, you know, and also try to be nurtured
so that we can get better fathers, right?
Better fathers and better men in society. Exactly. And let the girls also have the cars and those, you know, tough things.
Exactly. Then it transitions to school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an educationist, like I mentioned, and this I take very seriously, and it breaks my heart sometimes that the very people that you entrust your child's brain with are the people that break it. A teacher is supposed to be a mentor. And looking back, I told you, my school experience wasn't really the best. And I delved so deep, and I can see all those cracks that happen. You find a teacher that is supposed to build you and mentor you is actually breaking you, right? You find these teachers, most of them, they are not trained enough to know what to say to a girl. You get it? You find they also have that mentality that probably a boy is smarter and that kind of story. So we need to have sensitive classrooms that acknowledge these differences and find different ways of empowering both genders.
Instead of discouraging the women, you want to behave like boys. You know.
Exactly.
She's putting on those pants to be able to step into the waters.
So you find that is something that is broken every other day. You take your child to school, they come out broken. That's why we see a generation that universities churning out students with broken egos. You find your first day at school, you are so excited. Oh my God, my first day at school. And by the time actually, that is if you get a chance to actually get out of university.
They'll be like your tomboy. Because you want to, to get closer to the ICT stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You are a tomboy.
Exactly. Then we would look at school still. These disciplines, let's say technology disciplines, being taught at a very tender age. If you're to look into different curricula, like international curricula, ICT is like a have to, like it's a must have. These children are introduced to these disciplines. They're introduced to like scientists and inventors at a very young age. So it goes back to like our school system. Show these women that it's very possible. You get it. Show them inventors, women inventors. I
think that will take us to our next point. Like, say, I bet Uganda, with the experiences you have all through from school, and the time you've had to be in the field, and you engaging with the young ones out there who want to be like you, maybe take part in the tech world and tap into the opportunities. Where does that put us as Uganda? Because I mean, it's not the same in other countries, I should say.
Not at all.
With your findings, how would you rate us, or what needs to be done?
Should I take it on?
Because we want to make our home better. Yes,
okay. Technology is evolving. Every other day, you look at different technologies, Internet of Things. Now you're hearing things like ChatGPT, virtual reality, artificial intelligence. All these things are happening. And there's a time I was going through with my students, and we're going through like the industrial revolutions and stuff like that. Why do I do that? For them to see where they fit. Like, can they see how life has evolved and see how they fit? And they were so disheartened. They're like, wait a minute, I don't even think we have entered the 4th industrial revolution. you get it? And some were like, I guess it's us that are supposed to take like Uganda into this
Instead
space.
of concentrating on the French Revolution.
Exactly. How do you get these children to actually discover themselves and do all these things? So something like that. Technology is evolving, and that is the truth. Right? We are transitioning from the information age, and now we are entering the creative age.
Very true.
Gone are the days when you would be like, oh, I'm going to do software development. I'm relevant. Right now, people are shaking. Even the software devs are shaking. Why? Everything is evolving mentally, spiritually, psychologically. Everything is moving so fast.
So fast every day.
So
the new
fast.
creations.
So fast. I would take it back still to the education system. Everything is evolving, and it seems to be static or following very slowly, very, very slowly. Yet it all starts therein. Now, if technologies, let's say like ChatGPT, are happening, right? And you find some ICT teacher has no idea. Why? Because he or she is following a certain curriculum, right? Very static, following a certain curriculum, and by the time this child is out of that lesson, the world has left her, right? And then they'll get out and they will be irrelevant. They don't even know where to start.
They need to move with the trends.
True. Exactly, exactly. So we need to be very flexible in the curriculum. Be very deliberate. Where is the world heading? Can we introduce, like these children, the girl, of course, falls therein.
The girl child.
Yeah, the girl child. Can we introduce them to this evolving world? We put aside the traditional way of doing things because the world doesn't seem to be waiting for anyone. So that children can go out there and be relevant.
And be ready once they get out.
And be ready once
Not
they
just
get out.
For the sake of doing the examinations and you get out, I'm done with this, I just have to be in class, I have to do this. You know, the teachers also need to up their game.
Yeah. Up their game. Of course, you will look at the government intervening. For example, the O-level curriculum was, I think it was overhauled, right? To an extent. And now they're saying we have to do competent-based assessment, formative assessment, and that kind of stuff. As someone who has been in the field, I would say it's one thing to introduce these things. It's one thing for what you've introduced to be effective. Because you will find even the teachers have been so traditional to actually align with what you're introducing. But there are tools, for example, EdTech tools, that can help you assess.
At least to have the basics at some point.
Exactly.
At least they need to have the refresher course. Should I call it the refresher course? Or the orientation before they get to the classes.
Before they get to the classes. Then you find technology tools.
So you find like Ruth, who has to reach out to the women or reach up to the rural communities. How tough will it be for her, or how would you be supported?
Okay, so I would still want to delve back on the challenges. There's this thing that has been really on my mind before I respond to that. You know, there is this unconscious bias that all of us experience. It's something that it happens unconsciously. For example, during holidays, if there are STEM boot camps and then there are these girly events, you realize that the parents would decide to take their sons to the STEM boot camps because it's macho, it's masculine, it's considered for the boys, and then the lady is going to be taken to a dance class, you know. So like the girl, the young girl will grow with this mindset that I'm the soft one. I'm supposed to do you know, we like calling it the ambassador of soft life. Yeah, and then the boy is meant to do, you know, technology, tech-related work.
Spoil stuff around the house.
Yeah, which is, I feel it's not really good, much as it's a bias that is unconscious. It's something that we need to look into deeper, you know, because when we start taking these girls to these events now, they will grow up with the mindset that what a boy can do, it's a cliche, yes, but what a boy can do, a girl can also do better, you know. Yeah. So back to your question, how to access the rural women, and it's been difficult for me, the fact that I have to move physically to their locations and communicate to them something that I would have sent either through a text message
or a Zoom class as well.
Exactly, you know. So it's been difficult. Yeah, but you know, we'll get there. We will get there with time. Yeah.
So it gets back to us at the end of the day. Instead of holding back and, you know, having that self-pity going through, we're women and this is not done, and then we need the government support, but we're just still holding our hands. And yet we go on, like Linda says, you buy the dolls for the girls, you know, the jewelry boxes. So that's how they'll be nurtured also through. So it comes back to us as women.
Yes, but I also think we women have been in this victim cry for long. I think it's high time we also woke up. Like, we like victimizing ourselves a lot, you know, which I feel sometimes is not good. So sometimes it works against us. For example, we at Gender Tech Initiative, we run a mentorship program for young schoolgirls. So there is this particular school that we went to. They have a computer, but the head teacher told me that in the school, the female teachers fear using the computer. Fear. They don't want to come and type their work.
Really?
Yeah. So I
they want easy stuff, maybe.
Yes. So why do we, if the male teachers can come and type their courseworks or type their reports on the computer and then email it, why not you? Why do we want things to be done easy? Why do we want the easy way at all times? Yet we can also change our mindsets and do better. You know, so I think sometimes it's us, really. We just need to develop that thick skin, stop the victim cry, and you know, embrace the world, face the world, because who's going to do it for you?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, for the viewer out there who's still watching, if just joined us, we're here to celebrate women in ICT as a national broadcaster. And our guests are quite inspiring. They're role models, I should say, and I believe I've inspired you who is watching. I'm having Linda and I'm having Ruth. Well, we have women in ICT at the Ministry of ICT itself, and also have women when it comes to UCC. We have representatives there. Any role models you could cite out, or maybe the women in the game in Uganda?
Honestly, to me, it would be the fellow entrepreneurs out there on the front line, especially the female, trying to make ends meet every day. It gets really hard. Sometimes you find experiences where even funding, like you find some investors are not interested in a female because they believe probably you don't carry the macho that is needed, like to put the funds into good use and that kind of story. So to me, any woman who is still out there standing tall and saying, yes, I can, they inspire me. Those are the people that inspire me. Yes.
Ruth, would you love to add a voice to that?
Yes. You know, sometimes it's not, I would prefer looking within my circles. I have a circle of women who love technology. So there is this particular lady, she's called Ida. She runs a STEM bootcamp at the American Center. You know, so she's been doing this for quite some time, and to me that lady really inspires me, and she challenges me to do better. You know, yeah. So I've also had a couple of women within my circle, within or outside my circle, who all inspire me. But at the end of the day, it's important to spread the gospel of ICT and technology, and the need to have as many women as possible in these male-dominated fields. You know, it's difficult, yes. The challenges that we experience, especially relating to the pay gap, the pay gap that exists in the tech field, but I mean, women shouldn't give up, because we like they always say, an iron sharpens an iron. You know, for gold to come out beautiful and shine, it has to go through hot fire. So maybe for us, the women, this is the hot fire phase, and in the next couple of years, we'll emerge the victor. Yeah.
Standing tall and turning out to be the victor.
Yes.
I love it.
Since she has mentioned beauty, there is this whole narrative going on. Please allow me to talk about it.
Please do.
You know, this whole self-care, you know, where women are all about self-care, soft life. Self-care is good. I'm into mental health and I know how good self-care is, right? You hear all these phrases going on, the future is female, what? But no one is getting up to actually take that stand to ensure that the future is female. So yeah, to the woman out there, the self-care is good, get it, but there is some investment in knowledge that has to be done, and yeah, let us be proactive. You know, these phrases that we like throwing around.
I love the brains right here. Like I earlier on mentioned, we're having the women representative at the Ministry of ICT and UCC itself. Take a minute, think about it. Linda, you are the ministry. You are the minister at the ministry itself, at the Ministry of ICT. What would you start with in your first days? 100 days.
I think I would be deliberate about creating opportunities for women. And how would, like I said, it's a multi-pronged approach. You find as a ministry, you have to work with all these other ministries to ensure that that happens. As an educationist, still I would go back to overhauling the curriculum so that ICT, there is ICT at the top. There is ICT that needs to be developed from the grassroots. And how best are we going to do that unless we go to the classrooms, right? We go to the classrooms, and in the classroom, the key player is the teacher, right? We have very untrained teachers in the classroom. One, they're not tech savvy. Two, they're not professional in terms of pedagogy. They don't even know how to deliver a lesson. So you see, it's a bigger problem. And you find the government is solving the symptoms, but what is the problem? So to me, I find going to the root, and that is education, being the most effective way to put Uganda, a country like Uganda, to the next level as far as technology is concerned. Yes, that would be the first thing I would do.
Salute to Honorable Linda there. I'll move to you, Ruth. What would you start working on if you were given an opportunity for the first 100 days? Or maybe you're invited to work along with the minister herself.
I would benchmark on my experience. I do work with rural women. So what I would do, I would go into the rural areas, especially the women in trade, because I mean, trade drives the economy. So I would teach them on how to embrace and use digital tools to further market or to further better their trade. For example, I would still go back during COVID. We did a baseline survey and realized that 75% of the women in market had perishables. All those perishables, markets were closed. I think that's the reason why other women had decided to sleep in the markets. So when perishables go to waste, that means that someone's capital has also, gone along with the perishables. So we realized that what if they had known about digital marketing? What if they had known about how to sell their products online, or how to leverage on delivery companies or delivery people to take their products to their produce to their customers? They wouldn't have made losses in these perishables. So yes, I would teach a rural woman who is in trade on how to embrace digital marketing and how to use digital tools to market herself and her products, and to put herself out there to sell herself as a woman in the rural areas who is in trade. Yeah.
Okay, just getting to We had the Women's Day this month, and we've been celebrating the women in ICT the entire month. It's been about the women, basically. Just a reminder of the theme that we had, the innovation and technology for gender equality, like the equal opportunities, is really Uganda in sync with that. When it comes to the women and ICT itself in our region, Uganda, is that theme relevant, or was it in sync for us?
Of course, it is very relevant. Uganda, I think Uganda has embraced most of these policies that are going on. Gender equality, are there still missing gaps? Yes. There is still a gap, but at least you see the willingness. There is a willingness for the government to try and bridge all these gaps. If we have women in top positions, that also says it, right? That at least our leaders acknowledge our effort and they're willing to give us a stand, like to air our views and stuff like that. So Women's Day, it was a very beautiful theme, very beautiful theme. There is still much to do. There is still much to do on both ends. As opportunities are being availed, even the woman out there, like I said, there is a part for the woman to also do. And if you're to look at what is beyond us, let's say the digital divide and stuff like that, that's where the government has to come in and be very deliberate, because there is a woman out there who will never get a chance to even know how these things work. So if the technology is not able to solve it, then we have to find a way of taking the technology to them. Yeah, for example, even as innovators, yeah, I have the heart for the last mile person, right? So in our innovation, you find you're trying to say, how do I reach the last mile person? Probably, can we incorporate some offline tools, right? Like, I'm creating this app, but can it be an offline app so that even the other person
can benefit?
So you find it carries the heart. Yes, even us who are in that space, do you actually think about those people? Or you say, Sandra can afford and she's going to give me probably some money.
Is okay.
Yes, that kind of story. So it comes to the heart, you get it? What heart do we carry? Yes, we're looking at our leaders, but as Linda, what difference can I make? If it means me going out of my way to find out the best way to reach the last mile person, then we're creating the difference that we want to see, instead of putting all our eyes onto the government, waiting for something to be done for us, or
waiting for PDM to reach your region.
I'm not a PT party fan.
Oh, well, Ruth,
Yes.
What did you think about the theme?
I think the theme is timely. It's very relevant. You know, looking at Uganda right now, our Speaker of Parliament is a woman, our Vice President is a woman, our Prime Minister is a woman, the panelists here are women. You know, so that speaks to the fact, to testifies to the reality that digital technology for gender equality is something that Uganda is embracing. Of course, there are always those loopholes, there are challenges here and there, but I mean, challenges are always there, and it's these challenges that help us to grow and be better persons, or shape the policies that we make. So yeah, I would say it's timely. It's something that we are still a work in progress, but we'll get there. Yes.
We're ready to move as
Yes.
women. Well, salute to the leaders out there. You're talking about education. You have a lot to offer. You have a lot to offer.
That's for sure.
I should say, back at your place. Tell us more of what you do for someone who wants to meet Linda, find you, someone you've inspired for the day.
Someone I've inspired for the day.
They want to go enjoy this day, and they're like, I remember what Linda said. If I want to meet her, I can visit her at Caris.
At Caris. Maybe for the parent out there, I know this is going to be very helpful. If you're to look at children right now, like I said, technology is evolving. There is a phrase I keep hearing from parents everywhere. They just look at, like, let's say, like a child navigating through apps, and and they'll give you this whole thing of, my child is so bright, right? My child is so bright, and they are very excited. Why? Because these kids have been exposed to an extent, right? And I think the bit that saddens me is, it is much as, yeah, it's true, your child is bright, but it is like a generational issue. It's not that special. Why? If you were to look at, let's say, the alpha generation, these are actually children that are supposed to be the makers of the technology. We have used the technology, and you find these children are supposed to make the technology. And if you don't have the knowledge to harness that you see the excitement and the ability to navigate, that simply means that they also have the ability to make. And you might be excited over the navigation and you miss out on the bit where they're supposed to do. That simply means your child is going to be left behind either way. They know all these things, but they're not functional in the 21st century world, right? So if you're to look at, let's say, a parent like that, when you see that, expose them to the, you know, we are in this space and no one is safe. Even the parent out there. We are all preparing our children for a world that we don't even know, right? But it's you observing the trends as a parent. Paying fees is not enough. No teacher is actually going to instill some of these things in your child, and that is the point blank, right? As a parent, don't be comfortable. Don't be comfortable. Watch the trends. What is happening? You'll find children, just like she mentioned, in boot camps. Children are being exposed to coding, they're being exposed to robotics, right? And all these technology-related fields. And what? All you're doing is what? Going to the supermarket because, you know, teacher Linda somewhere has my child, everything is sorted. No, it doesn't work that way.
I pay the school fees, I give her those tips coming through, and that's it.
It doesn't work that way. We need to, and this, I think it goes to the mothers, we really need to woman up. Right?
You go home tired, you just
we
want
need to woman
kitchen.
up. Watch the trends.
Even the homework itself, you're like, oh my God.
Exactly.
There is homework to do.
Exactly. Watch the trends. See how best you can fit into this evolving world. And we see how we can prepare our children for the next generation. You asked about CARIS. CARIS is, it is a homeschool model. I have quite a number of kids. Just like she mentioned, it would be, it's a center where you will find, let's say, coding and the curriculum overhauled and washed, that kind of story.
It's the everyday life at CARIS.
Yes, it's the everyday life, and we have quite a number of kids. It's a pilot. It is a pilot because it's a program that we intend to digitize and then have like that regional footprint. Yeah, especially in terms of standardization.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Wow. So where is it located?
CARIS, yes. Homeschool.
Sorry, Ruth, we're not being selfish. We're not being selfish.
Yes, it is in Mutungo. Yes, you can go visit our website, www.caris.ac.ug. Yes.
That is CARIS. It's KHARIS.
It is CARIS STEM schools, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Amazing.
Yes.
Ruth, getting to you.
Yes.
I know you're also empowering so many women out there and bridging that gap, embracing the women out there to believe in themselves. What would you want someone to remember you for? This is what Ruth said, I should try. Much as there's that pity party, you know, that that low self-esteem for women. I'm sure you've talked to several of them and you really get to know what disturbs them.
Yeah.
What would your words be?
So to a woman out there, you know, Ruth wears very many hats. First of all, Ruth is a mother. I have 2 daughters. I'm a mother, I am a mentor. I'm mentoring women in cybersecurity. You know, I have like 2 mentors. One is in Tanzania and one is in Uganda. So like, I am mentoring women to venture into the field of cybersecurity. I'm also a trainer. You know, I train women on digital security. You know, I'm also a journalist. Then I'm also an executive director for the Gender Tech Initiative Uganda. So that is like a lot.
In a whole package.
Yes, you know.
Looking at you dividing, everyone needs a portion of Ruth.
Yes. So it's women can take on these multitasks. You know, we are naturally born multitasker. Did I mention that I'm also a good cook? Huh?
The masterpiece.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm also a very good cook. You know, so like I have all these things in one person. So women, we need to stop the self-pity, the victim cry that, no, I was doing this, I didn't have time for this. You know, you can have time for that.
I had to breastfeed, I had to cook.
Yes, you can have time for that if you prioritize. You need to set your priorities right. If you know that from, like for me today, I've planned my day, I knew from 10 maybe to 11 or to noon I'm going to be committed here, and then from noon to a certain time I'm going to go into another meeting.
Amid it's the downpour.
Yes, amid it's the downpour. And then I'm supposed to meet maybe a carpenter between 5 to 6. Then I need to sit with my kids, go through their homework, ask about how their day was at school, you know, tuck them into bed. I mean, these are things that we women can do all those things. We just need to get our priorities right. We need to plan.
So the men shouldn't have the fear of like, she's going to be in that organization. She's the CEO, she's the founder, she's an innovator, and I'm going to be home before she can come back home. So they have such going through their minds.
Yeah, I mean, we
can balance.
You just need to plan. It still goes back to planning. Yeah, we've had women who in bigger positions than us who are broken even, like they have everything set up. If you cannot do something yourself, if you cannot be there to do something, delegate.
She'll manage her time. She'll balance.
Yes.
She'll also have time for the husband.
Yes.
And she'll be home on time.
Delegate.
Much as she earns better than the man. No fears like that.
Yeah.
To get into their minds.
No. The fact that your woman earns better than you should be something that you need to be proud of as a man, because I mean the whole family, the responsibility is not on you alone, you know, because families also need to grow, the investments need to be done, things that be seen. So if you have a woman who is earning more than you, you just need to support her. You know, because your support goes a long way in making her better at her craft.
Wow, amazing. Having women in tech, they'll definitely think about the girl child and the boy child. Gender balance.
Yes.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for your time.
Oh.
Thank you, Ruth. Time is against us.
It's well.
Oh, yes.
It's just 1 minute to 11 a.m. and the time is fast spent, yet we still have a lot to share.
Yeah.
We need another day.
Maybe next time.
We need another episode. Well, for the viewers watching, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Just a reminder of our guests for the day. I had Ruth Atim, the founder and team leader at the Gender Tech Initiative Uganda, just next to me. And I also had Linda Kimbabazi, the CEO and founder of Caris Therapy. Wish you all the best. Don't give up. Just go on, lifting a hand for a sister out there.
Thank
and
you.
a good work in the rural setup.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
I wish you all the
Pleasure.
best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we had time for this episode. Join me yet again tomorrow, same time, same place. My name is Sandra Kahunde. We had a wonderful time with you. Thank you for choosing the National Broadcaster. There's a lot of programs lined up for you. God bless you.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel.